So this past month, I have been at the pre-college program for MICA. It was so much fun, and I'm really sad I had to leave. Also, my hair tips were dyed purple at the beginning, but unfortunately it faded pretty quickly, so that's why I have purple hair tips in the speed paint. I found it easier to make some great friends when you're surrounded by other artists. It was really scary at first living away from home, basically alone, other than a roommate that I didn't really get to know. It made it even worse that I'm gonna be honest, the rooms there are a bit creepy, and the myths about it being haunted may or may not be real. I have no comment. However, I did see a trash can rattling around with no one touching it, so that was kind of freaky. It really added a lot to my anxiety, so, it was real great having more OCD stuff than usual, but the good thing is that I was surrounded by other artists who usually also have some pretty messed up brains, so I felt like I could be pretty open about it. In time, I got used to being there, and I had a really great time, and as much as the independence scared me at first, I came to love it. Like, I'm free! I'm finally free! I also feel like I stepped out of a bubble that I was in. I got to meet so many different people from different places in the country who had so many different backgrounds and experiences and situations. People from home are all individuals as well, but they all live in the same place. Here I got to meet people who were from the city, and I got to hear all about the crazy stuff that goes on in some areas of big cities that they had seen, and it was pretty scary, but also fascinating. I got to meet people whose school environments are different than mine. Also, due to it being an art school, I met so many fellow queer people, which was super cool. I also got to learn what it's like to be a college student for a month, and what it's like to be in an art class full of people who actually want to make it their careers. So the first class I took was illustration, and our teacher was really nice. There was also a teacher's assistant, which was someone who was a current college student at MICA, and he was nice as well. We introduced ourselves to our classmates, and the next thing they did was have us buy art supplies from the MICA store, which, if I have one gripe about this, it would be that, because you already took our monies for us to come here. Can you really not provide supplies? You want us to feed you more monies? In the future, if I go to something like this again, I'll probably try to pack my own supplies. Anyway, the good thing that came out of this is that I bought soft pastels, and I have discovered that I absolutely love soft pastels, and I don't think I would have tried them without this. Illustration class really pushed me to try some more traditional mediums, and it was really cool. The first day after buying supplies, we just sat outside and drew a fountain that was next to us, so here's how mine looks. Yay, fountain. There it is. Then the next few days, we did figure drawings in class where everyone posed in front of the class and the class drew them. I, of course, dabbed in front of everyone like the completely normal person that I am. Now I have some lovely drawings of me dabbing, but I can't exactly show those since those are drawn by other people. Here are the faces of people that I drew, and here are some figures of everyone that I drew. The catch was that we had to do the figures in watercolor or ink, and we also did with dry media, so I drew everyone in soft pastel. I made a lot of drawings. So many. And, yeah, look at them all. Some of them are my friends. Look at them all going through the many, many drawings that I did. Beautiful drawings, I think. I don't know. Yeet. I was so lazy by that last one. Not all in order, though. I made this drawing of a character of mine in soft pastel, and I realized that he really looked right in the soft pastel medium, which led to something in the future that you shall see soon. Here are some character designs I did for this little short story project we had. Basically, the project was that we had to make a little short story, and then we pounded out the short story, and then we made a little illustration representing it. Here is my more refined version of that, and it's a little blurry to read, but it says, it's basically about this girl who's looking for a wolf in the park, but then it just turns out it's just an adorable husky, and she's like, I'm adopting you. But then you see in the trees there's eyes as they walk away, and then there's a wolf watching them for real. And here is the final illustration I did for it. This was something we also were told to finish up for homework, so I had art homework like a real art student. Although this one I mostly finished in class. The next project I had to finish coloring a bit more after class though, and that project I will show you right now. This assignment was to make a pop-up illustration with the theme of love. So I used my character Amelia, and here she's scared and surrounded by people who scare her, and then you flip and you see her happy and surrounded by the people she loves, which in the story I have for her in my head, those are her roommates, and the one in the purple with the braids is her girlfriend. I worked on this in my friend's dorm while she showed me some of Good Omens. We also had an assignment where everyone got a passage from the Telltale Heart, but we weren't told it was a Telltale Heart, and we had to make a storyboard for it, so here's the board. Then we had to make a finalized illustration of one panel from it, so I chose this panel of a woman screaming because since I didn't know it was a Telltale Heart and I didn't know it was an old man, all I got was that someone was screaming, so mine turned out like this. We also did collage illustrations, which I had never really done before, so I'm not sure how well they turned out, but there's the great cat box made out of cardboard. And here is the leaf fairy made out of actual leaves. Anyway, after that, there was a weekend in which I went on a trip to the art museum, but I kind of hated it because there wasn't enough room on the trip my friends were going on, so I ended up on my own, and it sucked. Anyway, after that, it was time for the next week of illustration class, in which we got to work on our final project, which was basically whatever we wanted. So I decided to make a 10-page long book and a cover for said book about the backstory of that blonde character from earlier. I asked my friends for names for him, and they said he looked like a Rowan, so now his name is Rowan. Specifically, I gave him the full title of Prince Rowan Blondie Blondington X. He is basically one of the many characters for a story I have in my head about a bunch of dragons who get put in a pocket dimension to hide from a world who hates them by this dragon girl named Eden. I'm not sure how much of the story will actually become a full project, but I have been writing it as a book in Google Docs for fun when I'm bored, so maybe someday it'll become an actual thing. But mainly I have lacking the elements to work on right now. So anyway, I'm going to read the story to you guys now. The Prince Who Became a Dragon. There once was a prince who was taught to hate dragons. He was expected to grow up to become a great slayer of dragons. One day, when he gazed upon his reflection in the mirror, he noticed something rather off-putting. He had begun to grow horns, wings, pointy ears, and a tail. He was terrified, for he had been told that dragons were destined to burn for all of eternity after death. The prince tried everything. He thought that if he could, switch the sink on and off 10 times, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, spin in circles 10 times, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and bite his arm 10 times, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, then it would go away. And so the prince carried on repressing his true identity, until one day a strange older girl appeared while he was in the midst of completing his rituals to rid himself of his affliction. She warned him that this could not go on forever. She advised him to escape with her, for he would be in great danger if the people of the castle found out. However, the prince refused, for he knew that he had everything under control. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And so, as the prince grew older, he continued to stifle his true nature. But it was becoming increasingly difficult, as his horns, wings, pointy ears, and tail were meant to grow alongside him as he aged. One day, when he stared into his reflection, he realized that despite everything he had tried, his dragon features still showed. The people of the palace soon found out and cornered him. Left with no choice, the prince leaped from the palace window. Despite having wings, he still had no idea how to control them, and so he fell. Down, 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 down. Luckily, he landed in a bush. Not so luckily, the people of his kingdom were not so happy to see a dragon in their midst. They raised their pitchforks and surrounded him, attacking him and smashing his crown. The strange girl from the past reappeared. "What did I tell you all of those years ago?" she asked. Then she scooped up the prince who was still clutching the broken pieces of his crown and flew him away to the great unknown to start a new life. Anyway, I really liked how that turned out, and I got to present it at the final show. Next class that I took was animation, and the first thing we learned was how to make this obstacle toy spinny thing. So here's Keegan from my webcomic Lacking the Elements and fire merging into one image. That same day, we also got to make flip books and use a light box, which was really cool because I've never made a flip book before. So I stuck with the Keegan theme, and here he is. The next day, we learned stop motion, and we made this like 20-second thing of me getting eaten by backpacks, and I would love to show you guys, but unfortunately I can't, as I was not the only one who worked on it, so I'm not sure how my teammates would feel about that. Also, it has my face in it, and I would not be comfortable showing my face online. Anyway, after that, we learned how to do collage animation on Photoshop. So I took a bunch of Google images and made this silly little thing in Photoshop, which is the app that we proceeded to use for basically all of the animations in that class, and I have begun to actually despise Photoshop. But anyway, here is the animation. After that, we got to do a rotoscoping project, which is basically where you draw over an actual live-action video. So I recorded myself and drew over it. I stuck to the fire theme because I had other Keegan animations on the brain, I guess. Then our final project that we worked on for our class was this Anajam, which was summer themed and was basically like a multi-animator project here on YouTube. I can't show everyone else's part, but my part shows two of my characters from another story I have in my head with a world of superheroes and supervillains. But who knows, maybe I'll get to make that story someday, but again, Lacking the Elements is my main focus right now. Anyway, their names are Peanuts and Summer, and the lore is complicated, but they're basically siblings. Anyway, I chose to do them because Summer is literally named Summer. So here is the animation. So that's pretty much all of the art I did at MICA Pre-College. I hope you liked it. I had a really good time, and I made really great friends that I really hope I can stay in touch with. Before I leave, this is my little reminder for you to read my webcomic Lacking the Elements on Webtoon, link in description. Bye!